Hello everyone and welcome back. I am very tired today. My name is Shannon and I am recording from a little bit outside of Boise, Idaho. I'm again very, very tired, but I have a lot to talk about today. I have 4 finished objects, 3 works in progress, some yarn that came in that I'm very excited about and cannot wait to work with. A little bit of life stuff, not a ton, but let's just go ahead and get into it. I am going to start with what is my oldest work in progress, and then we'll kind of go from there. I'm very excited about this one. Let me go ahead and talk a little bit about all of it. So the pattern is the Geogradiant from Stephen West. This was last year's Mystery Make-Along. I am not doing this one, like the one that's currently going on, and I have not ever done one otherwise. I like his patterns, but a lot of them are more fiddly than I'd normally want. I technically finished this project early, so let me get into that part. So the first part is the yarn, and I used yarn from my hand-dyed Happy Yarn Club from So Happy Jane. I honestly am not 100% sure I remember which yarns are which, but I have both from the June 2023, one from July 2023, and one of them is from the Farmer's Market month. It does not say which month that was on that one. So all of them are from, in the shawl, are from So Happy Jane. The only one I remember for sure which one it is this like dark purple is the Farmer's Market color. And the others, I don't remember. I think these two may have come together and then this one may be the July, but I'm not positive on that. So that is actually the back. Here is what I have finished. It looks like after blocking, there's a few more ends that I'm going to have to trim just a little bit shorter. So anybody who's made this may have noticed that there was another section that I did not do. So I did do the swatch for this, where Clue 4 had a section that was supposed to go like all the way around everything with what was called the dip stitch. And I did the swatch for it to kind of see, because it was going to be 500 stitches doing this dip stitch. And it was like, okay, I agree. I want to know if I'm willing to do this for 500 stitches. And I made my little swatch using just some scrap yarns I had. They were all from my section of scrap yarns that had like quite a bit of yarn, because I had no idea how much I'd need. As you can see, not very much. And I really like the way it turned out there. But I did not think that I would want to do it over 500 stitches, especially since once you put it on like this, like most of this would be kind of hidden. So it would be a whole bunch of fiddly work for a detail that you wouldn't necessarily see. I do really like the dip stitch, and I actually weirdly did like the 3 colors together that I picked for scrap yarn. So I have considered he does have a sock pattern that has the dip stitch going along the leg, and I did consider buying that because I think that I might enjoy it at that level, but doing like this much, but over 500 stitches, I just decided it was not going to work for me. And at that point, that meant that all I had to do left to finish this and have it done, it is no longer a work in progress, was weave in my ends and block it. And like I said, after blocking, I could see a few of the ends that I thought I had woven all the way in seem to be peeking out just a little bit. So I might trim some of those down. Honestly, once it's all on, you can't really see them that much anyway, so we'll see how fiddly I get with that. If they're kind of short, I may just leave them and let it be what it is. So yeah, this is my finished Geogradient, even if it is not finished to what the pattern specifies through Clue 4. If I ever decide that I really regret not doing Clue 4, I do still have the rest of the yarn. If I still have it, then I could pick it up and add it, or even add it in different colors, or even make an entire new shawl. But I think that I like it in the size it is. It already has so many different, like, it's got the The texture there, it's got all these slip stitches. It didn't need one more section of stitches as far as I was concerned. So that is my first finished object, and it is one of the finished objects, like one of the long-term projects that I had going into 2024 from 2023. So I am very happy to have it done and not carrying it with me into the next year. So the next one I will show is just the next one on the pile because that's easiest. This is a finished pair of socks from Blue Barn Fiber. The color is September Aspens. And these are just a vanilla sock, 1x1 rib. I did ribbed heel flap, and then of course a basic gusset and a rounded toe. So nothing really exciting on these other than I did really, really love the color. I did not quite finish the September Aspens color in the month of September, which made me a little bit sad, but it's fine. I'm not that sad. I still really, really love them, and it's not like I had to finish them in September and only wear them in September. I'm still very, very happy with these socks. The next one I have, I may stop and put this on in just a second, but I'm going to start talking about it first. This is my twisted t-shirt from Little Wolf Knits. And the yarn I used is also from my Hand-Dyed Happy Yarn Club, so I just finished with like 7 skeins of her yarn. So these ones are 2 from the month that the theme was road trip, and 1 was 100 Acre Woods. The 100 Acre Woods is this darker aqua, and then this like sea glass, and the dark teal were the road trip. When I did my calculations, I calculated out that I would need 7 repeats of this, and I did not have enough yarn for that. And I'm very glad that I didn't, because I think if I had done 7 repeats, it would have been way too long. I was going to do extra on the last stripe and on the ribbing, and I did not even end up doing that. I have not actually tried it on since blocking, so in just a moment I'll try it on and we'll see how it looks there. But when I tried it on before blocking, it was like maybe a 1/2 inch to 1 inch shorter than I wanted it. But it was also one of those where it's like, you know, if I'd had the extra yarn to add a little bit extra to the last stripe, maybe that would have made it perfect. But once it's blocked, maybe it would have been perfect there. So let me go put this on real quick, and then we'll see how it looks. All right. So, trying to show a little bit before I sit down. I don't have a whole bunch of space here. But yeah, now that I've tried it on after blocking, I think it came out the perfect length. It feels really, really nice. I'll have to take actual like photos and everything later in it, but I'm very, very happy with how this came out. I think I would have also liked it if it wasn't striped, but as this allowed me to use some yarn from Stash instead of buying for this project, very happy with how that came out. So yeah, I'm very happy with this pattern. The only thing really that I did different, it's supposed to be a cropped shirt, and I extended it so that it was not cropped because cropped is not my style. And then there was details right here that were supposed to continue down the side. I did not do that because the way that I picked up stitches, without picking up the stitches, this would not have looked the same going down the side anyway. So I just did stockinette in the round for that part. And yeah, very happy with how it turned out. The last finished object I have, I will share before I change out of that because I just restarted my camera. So this was kind of a spontaneous project that I finished pretty quickly. I had a virtual conference last weekend. So it was 2 days where I was sitting at home in front of my laptop for a good chunk of the day. And the first day I worked on socks. I finished the shirt as much as I could, like all those little things going on where it was stockinette. And then the second day, I was just going to work on socks and try to zoom through them. And then my hand started hurting a little bit. And it was like right here, and just the way that I held fingering weight yarn. And it was like, nope, if I keep going, I'm going to really hurt myself. So I need something like a chunky yarn, maybe crochet, so that my hands are working differently. But I can't sit here for 8 hours and do nothing. So I had about 5 minutes in between conference talks to grab something, and luckily I had some yarn that I already knew what I was going to do, and I was able to grab the yarn and grab a crochet hook and get right back into the next conference class before it started. And I made a corner-to-corner blanket. It's a very small one. Like, it's definitely lap-sized and split right down the middle there. So this was done using leftovers that I had in my closet. I had already kind of decided I was going to do this. I had seen somebody do a similar blanket this year using 2 full balls where I had 2 half balls. So their blanket was much, much bigger. And I actually ended up doing the first half of the blanket in that first day of the conference because it moved that quickly. So these are both using old Karen anniversary cakes from 2 years ago. One is the color Blue Hues and the other one is Cookie Parade. So I had made a blanket using half of each of these previously, and a creator, Altnuts, had made a half and half using 2 different colors, but each half was like a full ball this year. And I thought, oh, that would be a great way to use up those 2 half balls, as I could turn them into one blanket together. And then I just needed something quick to grab. I knew exactly where the yarn was. It took me, I felt like I was running late because I had to check the hook size, and then I keep all of my furls hooks kind of displayed on my wall, and the size I needed was at the top, so I had to grab a step stool quick, get up there, grab it, and I still made it back before the conference started, like the next class started. And I started with the blue, and then as soon as I hit the color change, I just started reducing. So I did end up with a little bit more left of the gray side yarn, whereas I used all of the blue. I probably could have done one more row before I started reducing, but I did not want to get to the end, run out, and have to pull it all back. So I figured whatever is left over, it's fine. So yeah, it ended up half of it done in one day, and then I finished the rest of it over the next 2 or 3 days. It did not hurt my hand at all, and by the time I was done, I was able to move on to the next projects, like the next fingering weight project, without any pain. So it was a nice rest for my hand. I cannot decide if I like this drink mix. I got a sample of a brand, I don't remember what the brand is, but the flavor was raspberry salt, and I wasn't sure if I would like it. And I'm still not sure. It's definitely, like, it's got that, it's an electrolyte one, so, like, sometimes those do kind of taste salty, but definitely more than I expected. I don't know why, because it's called salt. Anyways, so I have 3 works in progress. My current works in progress are not very exciting because they are all socks. 2 of them you will have seen before, 1 you will have not. Let's see what labels I have right here on top. We will start with one of the ones you have seen before. So this is my DK weight socks. It's just a vanilla sock pattern using yarn held double. So the brown up here is leftover Boss Kitty yarn from another project in the color Snuffy. And the orange part is Knitted Wit in the color Great Pumpkin. If you remember, I was not really a fan of the way the Great Pumpkin yarn was pooling as a fingering weight. So I wound it up into a ball, held double, so that like the 2 ends were held together and then it's kind of folded in on itself. And I've just been working on this sock. This has been kind of like a background sock. I work on it every now and then when I just need something else to work on. I did try it on last night just to kind of get an idea of like how long the foot needs to be. When I make a basic vanilla sock for myself in fingering weight, I know exactly how many stitches around to do for the needles I usually use. I know exactly how many rows to make my heel and exactly how many rows to make my foot so that I get to the point of the toe. Like, I have all of that kind of worked out. But that, and you know, when I have it all worked out in fingering weight, it's also like whatever length I make the leg is just dependent on what I feel like. When it comes to DK weight socks, I don't make them very often, and very frequently when like the 2 pairs that I've made recently, One ended up being a little bit short, and I ended up giving them to my daughter because her feet are just slightly smaller than mine, and so they didn't feel too short on her foot. And the other ones, I had to like pull back the toe a couple of times and make them longer because I just could not seem to figure out how to get the correct length. So I'm trying to figure out when making a DK weight sock exactly how long to make the foot, and I'm not quite there yet. I do have some other, like 2 other yarns I think that are both DK weight that I'd like to make socks with. I would like to have some more DK weight socks because I think it'd be nice to have the heavier socks. Anyways, that is a whole bunch of talking. This, all I have is sock number 1. It's very much a back burner project, but I am trying to get a little bit more progress on it because these 3 socks are really the only projects I'm actively working on. So the next pair of socks is also a pair that you have seen previously. These are my Beetlejuice socks. So if you remember, I am working on making coordinating socks for me and my daughter for seeing Broadway shows that are traveling to our area this winter. One of the shows we are going to be seeing is Beetlejuice. So all 3 of the colors in here are from Cascade Heritage, or Cascade Yarns. It's the Heritage line. And I'm working them in tandem. So these are both for the first pair. And they look a little weird now because I just mostly finished the heel. I think I have like 2 more rows on this heel. So it's still connected. And then I'm going to pick up the stitches and keep going to make the stripes all the way down until I do a green toe. It's a little hard to properly show them when it's got like that gaping heel section going. But I have just a pop of color at the top, 1x1 rib. So it's actually like a 23 row cuff because I wanted the stripes to be even. And then each stripe is 10 rows long. I am absolutely hating doing these black stripes. This is great black yarn, which also means I have to count each row like 5 times to make sure that they are 10 rounds each time. So I still have 1 more pair of these after I'm done with these Beetlejuice socks. So that there's a coordinating pair for me and my daughter, but I am not looking forward to using that black yarn longer. It's starting to make me rethink the socks that I had planned out for when we go to see Wicked, which would have had black in it naturally. And it's one of those where it's like, maybe not. Maybe that's not what I want to do. We'll see what I actually end up deciding on that because they'll look good. I know they will. So I feel like I'm talking so fast about all of these socks. This last pair of socks has been my car socks. And they are a new pair. I don't believe I had them cast on last week. This is from 29 Bridges Studio, and it is the colorway October. I actually bought this yarn like 2 years ago with the plan. My birthday is in October. My birthday is actually very, very soon. And the plan was that I would make these for my birthday. And then 2 years ago, I did not do that. And then last year, I found a different yarn that I ended up doing that was Libra, which is my sign. So I ended up doing those, and I didn't have time to do both. So this year, I decided I was definitely going to do my October socks in October. So the colorway October, this is the first sock. The October colorway is this main part of the sock. And then I used some leftover, I believe it's Cascade Heritage. It's gotta be. Just to do a pop of color, I did a slip stitch heel and the toe because I wanted it to have a little bit more. And I wasn't 100% sure about the color I chose until I kind of saw the way that it blended with that purpley dots there. And I was like, nope, I like it. It turned out well. So I have the first sock done, and I have just started on the ribbing of the second sock. So my plan is to try to keep diving through because I would like to really finish these socks, partially because I'd like to have them done before October ends, but partially because directly behind the camera right now I have my new yarns that have come in, and I mean I want to do all of them right away, but I know that I do not have time to do all of them right now. So it's putting that little bit of pressure on me to be like, okay, if you want to do that one for the month of October also, you better hurry up and finish these ones. So with how excited I am about that pile directly behind the camera, let me hurry up and grab that so that we can talk about it. All right, so I would definitely say talking about all my yarn and everything seems to be waking me up a little bit. I was so tired today, but today was the best day this weekend to be able to film, so it was one of those where it's like, tired or not, you can do this. And after I finish talking about some of the yarns that came in, I will tell you part of why I am so tired. So I have 3 yarns that came in. 2 of them were mystery collection things. One of them is my Yarnable. The other was a Halloween pre-order that I did. So I will make sure to name what they are. If you have not received yours yet and you do not want to see, then that is perfectly fine. But I will start with the one that is not, simply because that way nobody has to worry about turning it off. And then if you got either a Yarnable or the Cashmere and Coconuts Frankensock set, you could just go ahead and turn it off after that if you would like, and thanks for visiting. So the first one that I have is from Maria and Me Dye Works, and this one is the one that I absolutely want to do right now. It was based on Frankenstein. Frankenstein is one of my all-time favorite classic novels. I actually just reread it for the season, and it's like, ooh, I just finished redoing the book. We're in 100% in spooky season. I want to do my Frankenstein socks right now. So I'm trying to finish up my October socks so that I have room for Frankenstein socks. I'm not usually a huge fan of like the slimy green colors, but I still fell in love. I mean, I don't know how many times people have seen these things in the background, but I have like 3 different Frankenstein things within easy reach. I've got my little Teddy Bear, a little Frankenstein from the Woobles, and then of course Frank, my friend, who spends his life with a head full of scrap yarn. So clearly and then that's just the Frankensteins that are in reach. Frankenstein and ghosts are 2 of my things that I absolutely love. So I'm so excited about this yarn. Yeah, that's all I can really say about it, is that the only reason I have not cast it on yet is because I'm trying to force myself to work down through some of the socks that I already have. I do have 3 socks currently in progress, it's not a lot for everyone, but the more that I have going at once, the less I feel like I'm actually able to finish them. Like, yeah, I know a little bit on all the socks, they'd all get done, but I feel like I feel more accomplished when I'm making them if I don't overplan at one time. Like, I do have another project already wound up, ready to go, but I'm trying to get myself a little bit down so that I no longer feel overwhelmed with the 3 pairs of socks. That's all it is, 3 pairs of socks, and somehow it feels like an overwhelming amount of works in progress. I don't know why. Anyways, Maria and May Dye Works Frankenstein yarn. So the next one that I am going to show will be my Yarnable. I will start with the little extras that I got. Yarnable is not always open to new subscribers, but if you go to their site and get on their waiting list, I don't think it usually takes very long. I mean, it was only a couple of months. I think it was only like a month for me until they were open to new subscribers. I tend to see it open up every couple of months. So depending on your luck, I guess. So in this one, the extras were a bat-shaped charcoal facial mask. And I have a conference where I'm going to be traveling to go to there soon. So I may set this aside as a little thing to do when I'm by myself traveling, no kids around. There is hazelnut toffee, and it is called Cauldron Crunch. And I believe I already looked through. Yes, I should be able to eat this because it does appear to be no gluten in it. And I actually really do like toffee. As far as I'm aware, toffee does not normally have gluten, but you never know what people are going to add into stuff. And then 2 little pins that I swear I have identical straw toppers for my cups. and they are just so adorable. I don't know exactly, like, I don't have a specific purpose I will use these for, but they are so cute, and I'm excited to be able to use them because I usually leave all of this stuff until at least after I talk about it. I know if I had started winding up some of this yarn and working it before we talked about it here, no one would blame me and no one would be like, how dare you? But it still always feels like I shouldn't. So the yarn is called Witch Please, and it, very much like the Frankenstein yarn, as soon as this got here, I was like, oh no, I need to do this. Like, I want to do socks out of both of these this month, but I know I will not necessarily have time. I don't work through socks that fast, and I do have other things I want to work on as well. So it seems to be a lot about socks lately. Like, all my works in progress are socks. All I'm talking about here is I want to make these as socks. But yeah, I absolutely love this color, and I won't get it worked up this month, but who knows? I might decide to make these spooky socks around Christmas because everybody celebrates things their own way. So the last thing I have is this Cashmere and Coconuts Franken Socks kit. I'm going to try to open it very carefully because all that's on this kit is my address label, so I don't want to show that. So inside there is a pattern for a scrappy stockinette. It's from Willow and Vine. I don't know if I will actually use this pattern or not because I know exactly what I will do and it will not require that. And then there is a little pack of stitch markers, a coconut and warm vanilla hand lotion, and a Skull white chocolate hot cocoa balm. Let me try to make room somewhere for that. And then what the rest of it is I've got these two that are a little bit longer, and then the rest is just tiny balls of scraps. Like there's enough in here to make a couple of pairs of socks, depending on how tall you want to make them. But the idea is basically that you are going to Frankenstein yourself a pair of socks. So the way that you could, there's so many ways you could do it. You could go through and pick them out so that all the colors kind of coordinate. Like I could pick out all of the blues and just make it like themed like that. Or what I'm very much thinking I might do is use the black for the heel and then just, okay, I'm using pink, and then next, now it's gray, and then now it's this, and kind of go so that it is socks that are not really themed together, like very, very scrappy socks look. So I am also very excited about this one. It is much like the other ones where it's like I would like to start those immediately. But this one is also not one that I would consider a possibility for a portable project. So like my October socks are ones that I often have in my car. So when I drive to work, I always have a pair of socks in there, and I usually get to work and I sit in my car for a little bit and I work on my socks before I actually go into the building. And then when I take my daughter to gymnastics, those same socks go inside to gymnastics with me. These, as vanilla socks, will replace that wonderfully. The Witch Please, again, vanilla socks will replace it wonderfully. I don't know why I put it back in the bag. But something where I need a bag or a box full of scrappy yarns that I'm going to try. Like, my plan is to reach and grab randomly, but then, like, weigh it and put stripes on both of them equally. So that, yes, they are random, but they're still matching. So, like, that seems like that's not really a portable project. So, it may take me a little while to be able to work on that. All right, let me adjust the things I have around, and then we'll do my tiny little bit of life stuff before I have to get back to my life. All right, so over the last 2 weeks, I've actually had a few things going on. I mean, I mentioned I started and finished an entire lap blanket. Like, clearly I got a little bit creatively done. Last weekend, so that would be the 7th and 8th. Something like that. I had a virtual conference, so I work in ABA therapy. This was something online, but it was all about like self-care and the importance of taking care of yourself and then working on that in order to ethically do our job. If you're too stressed, if you're too tired, are you able to properly care for other people? So it was very interesting and definitely a different kind of conference than what most people would go to for work, where they're getting into like the technical nitty gritty of this is why you should do what you should do. Now this was all like, this is why you should care for yourself, and you should teach the people who you supervise to care for themselves, and you should make sure that we are not working towards burnout. Like burnout is not the goal. So that was definitely nice, and it did give me that little bit of time since it was virtual. I have a walking pad, so like one whole seminar I walked through, but a lot of the time too I was not really able to do that, so I was able to sit down and work on projects, and it was kind of relaxing to sit down and work on projects and listen to people tell me about how you should sit down and take care of yourself more. I mean, it was relaxing, but also in a weird way, a little stressful, because it does remind you like, yeah, I need to plan how I'm going to take care of myself more. So that was what I did last weekend. This weekend is only about halfway done. We still have more things that we are planning on doing this weekend because I took a little bit of extra time off work. My birthday is coming up. It will actually be the day this comes out, so happy birthday to me. And I lost my train of thought for a second there. So I decided that I was going to do another race right like before my birthday, and found a race in my local area that I could train for and do this last week. And I completed the City of Trees half marathon. The medal says marathon, but I did the half. I thought it said for a second, because on the other side it says City of Trees marathon. I was like, no, I got the half marathon. But I got my medal yesterday, and it is part of why I am tired and a little bit sore today, because my training did not go as good. The day this comes out, I will officially be a 42-year-old woman who did not train properly and then went out and did a half marathon. So my feet were a little sore today. I don't hurt that much because I did do some training, but I was definitely moving a little bit slower this morning than other days. And when I stand up, the ball of one foot or the heel of one foot likes to hurt for a minute, and then I take a couple of steps and it's back to feeling fine. So I did not finish quite as quickly as I wanted to. I wanted to finish under 3.5 hours. I ended up finishing in 3 hours and 38 minutes because I just hit a point where it's like, nope, I can keep moving, but I cannot run anymore. And I needed to run just a little bit more in order to hit that goal. And as I kept going, I would be like, okay, so I'm at this point. If I'm get the next mile in this many minutes, I'm fine. And then I think I ended up just slightly miscalculating. But at that point, it was like, I'm just going on inertia pretty much only. Like, I am strictly still going because if I stop, I won't be able to start again. I am going because I am already an object in motion. So I was not going to be able to add speed at that point. And then this morning we went out and just did a little bit of errands, nothing super exciting. We were hoping to find my daughter a Halloween costume. She did not find the one she wanted at Target. She usually doesn't like going to Spirit because of all the spooky animatronics, but she's actually kind of looking forward to it right now, so that is nice. And then we're planning on going to a pumpkin patch as well this weekend because I took extra days off around my birthday so that I could relax, recover from my race if I needed to. I took the Friday before the race off so that I could go down and pick up my packet, and my husband and I also went to the bookstore, and we did just a little bit of shopping and had lunch. Like, it was a kind of quiet day, but the kids were in school, so it was just the two of us, and that was a really nice day out. So yeah, it's not a ton of life stuff, but we did do a few things over the last couple of weeks, and by the time the next one comes out, I don't know if I will have any exciting life things to share. You never know. That is all I have for today. I think my brain is slightly tired still, and I am definitely hitting that ramble point. It is time for me to edit this video and work on my socks and clean up this mess that I have made putting all of my projects out, and have a very happy making until we see each other again. Have a happy making.